What started as an early season pipe dream had quickly become a reality. A team that was criticized for its inclusion in the tournament had now defeated the defending champion UNC Tar Heels and perennial tournament threat Michigan State. This was the moment they had literally dreamed of and committed to just months ago. George Mason Patriots versus the Connecticut Huskies for a spot in the Final Four.
It was a great first half, but despite an outstanding performance, we trailed by 12 points with just 5 seconds to play. Fowler and Campbell took the ball and went coast to coast and made a layup and was fouled. An incredible end of half situation. The lead went from 12 to 9 when Fowler made the free throw as well. We went into the locker room very, very excited that the momentum now had shifted away from Connecticut and toward our George Mason team. We went out in the second half and played perhaps the best basketball we've ever played. We ran the same play 25 consecutive times. We never even made a substitution. Our 5 starters, Tony Skinn, Lamar Butler, Fowler and Campbell, Will Thomas, and Jai Lewis, were just playing so well together. Timeouts were 2.5, 3 minutes long, so they had plenty of time to rest. I did not feel like we needed to have our bench play that much. So we relied on those starters, and did they come through, executing one play after the other. Jai Lewis finding Tony Skinn for a 3. Will Thomas jump hooking it in the goal. Lamar Butler hitting a 3 and getting fouled and converting a 4-point play. Fowler and Campbell taking Rudy Gay one-on-one, shooting a fadeaway jumper and burying it. One big play after another. But still, with just 5 seconds to play, we were hanging on to a 2-point lead. They fouled Tony Skinn, and Tony Skinn went to the foul line. And I'm thinking to myself, wow, Tony's going to make 2 free throws. We're going to be up by 4. Game's going to be over. We're going to the Final Four. But it was a 1-on-1 situation. And Tony Skinn, I'm sure his heart was pounding. The adrenaline had to be flowing. Knowing that there was a possibility he would miss, I sent all 4 starters back instead of being up at the free throw line. I'm thinking to myself, 4 guys back, the best that Connecticut can do, even if Tony misses, is race down the floor and shoot a desperation shot. 4 guys should be able to stop 1 guy every single time. Tony lined up the shot, shot it, it hit long, bounced off, and Denham Brown got the rebound and raced up the left-hand side of the floor. He went by our bench, by the Connecticut bench. He went right by our whole team, shot a reverse layup and scored, tied the game up and put it into overtime. 20,000 people who had been screaming and yelling, the excitement in the arena. George Mason's going to the Final Four. Dead silence. And with 5 seconds to go, up by 2 points, Connecticut was forced to foul again. And this time they fouled Jai Lewis. Jai went to the free throw line, and I sent the 4 guys back again. Jai bounced the ball, set himself, and missed the first of 2 shots. He looked over at the bench at me, and I looked at him, and he said, relax, relax, I got this one, I got this one. He shot again and missed again. Denham Brown, the same player who had put the game into overtime, got the ball, drove the length of the court. This time, you had all 4 guys back in a stance, ready to play. You take the ball, I got help right, you got help left, I got the basket, you guys. Everybody was focused. Everybody was in a stance. Everybody was ready. Denham Brown could not get by us this time. He drove up the left-hand side of the floor just like he had done, but instead of getting to the basket, he had to shoot a fadeaway 3, which hit the rim and bounced off. And George Mason advanced to the Final Four for the first time in school's history, for the first time in conference history, and according to the experts now, the first time in NCAA tournament history, a number 11 seed from a mid-major conference advanced to the Final Four. And the celebration began.
We tell a little story about during the Final Four, we sold $1 million worth of T-shirts in about 48 hours. So that's only a small, low-hanging fruit example of what it meant. But so many aspects of the university were helped by it, the sense of community and just the feel good. I recommend that everybody go to the Final Four at one time in their lives.
The run to the Final Four in 2006 was one of the most dramatic things that ever happened, not only at George Mason University, but frankly at any other university. We had previously had two Nobel Prize winners, one in 1986 and one in 2000, and then along comes the run to the Final Four. It had a major impact on the university during the March of 2006, and it continues to have a major impact on the university. It brought a lot of pride to the university. When I look back at that period of time at George Mason and I reflect as to what was the major impact, it was the pride. It was the pride that we all had in the university. It was the pride that we all had in the men's basketball team.
It was an incredible sense of community that was developed through that team. I think for the first time ever, George Mason was really considered a DC area team. Both the players that were on the team were from the area, and being that the UConn game was downtown, the whole city for that day was not a Redskins town or a Maryland town or a Georgetown town, but it was a George Mason town. I feel like it's kind of, we've carved out our niche from that since then.
After we defeated the University of Connecticut 86-84 in overtime, we took the short bus ride back from Washington, D.C. to Fairfax, home of the George Mason Patriots. We went into the Patriot Center, our home arena, and were greeted now by 9,000 fans cheering wildly, dancing in the seats, dancing on the court, and celebrating. President Merton, always thinking ahead, had the leader of our student organization purchase fireworks, and fireworks were going off on campus. Everything was a celebration. Everything was new, everything was exciting, and everyone was a part of it. A very, very proud moment for a college basketball coach to know that all of the dreams and goals were accomplished that season. Even though we fell short of the national championship, we did more than anybody else ever expected. And that I am really proud of.
As Coach L and the Patriots showed us, nothing is impossible in March. The only question is, who will be this year's George Mason? I'm Samantha Steele. Thanks for joining me on this once-in-a-lifetime journey.